Hey guys, what is going on? It is Ando, and today's video for Galaxy of Heroes, we've got the Set 14 DC analysis. Now, before we get into the video, I want to give you guys a call to action. If you guys could hit the thumbs up, share it with your guild mates, subscribe to the channel if you're not, that all help me out, and I greatly appreciate it. Now, got a lot of slides to go through. We're pulling out the slide deck like we always do with these. Always a good time. But we're going to explain the DCs, and I'm going to try and go into as much detail as possible. But if you have any questions, leave them in the comment section down below, or if you have any recommendations or fixes or whatever. But this is just based off of what I've seen so far and kind of reading the kits and, the DC analysis, right? So I always like to start these off with the stats. So you'll have to excuse my head. It's blocking one of them, but for basically the big reason why I like to show this is where are our stats at, right? Like that should be one of the big things. We just came from set 12 where like basically none of the stats mattered because there was no real shining example. There's some pretty good ones here, right? So it's a little bit different. So health steal is obviously the big one. It's 310%. Both health and protection are 120%. Offense and crit chance are 70%, and accuracy is at 120% as well, but we don't really care. So that's the max roll that you could ever get. So obviously most of us are expecting to be quite a bit below that. Okay, so first I like to go into the Galactic Legends, and then I'll go into the squads as we see fit afterwards. So and I go in the order that they were released. So if you have a specific one that you're looking for, kind of you can guesstimate on where to go. All right, so Rey, right? So her current meta right now is season 13, protection up with some crit avoid, kind of helps against Jabba's, right? If we were building a cron for this time, level 3 would be 15% offense plus 20% speed, or plus 20 speed. I think that's a pretty good one because she is usually one of the last to die. There could be some arguments for some other ones, but the level 6 is one where you get 100% tenacity. And then for level 9, I threw two of them in here because they're both really good. I think in certain situations, one probably goes over the other. Like I think if you're going territory war solely, I think Holdo is probably the better one. If you're going with GAC and you've got the Bane revive with the leader enemy turn, I think Rey revive is going to be really annoying because she's going to revive with full health. I think that means you'll have to get her back through damage, damage immunity, which means you can't kill Ben, which means you're gonna have to kill Ben a bunch of times, and he's usually just a whack-a-mole. Especially with Star Killer after Rey has been taken out, he'll just come back whenever EP takes a turn. But now you're not gonna be able to do that. He's actually just gonna stay alive until you can get Rey down the second time. So I think that Rey revive is going to be really important for stopping or blocking out Star Killer. All right, so for secondary stats, we're looking at health, right? It's bulk. For her, there's lifeblood benefits. Health steal, it allows her to keep doing the lifeblood. If you ever had an ultimate with a Rey that has 100% health steal, it's like she just goes right back to full health. It's really annoying. And then offense as like a very low priority just for the more ult damage, but so many teams can revive, so it doesn't matter. Is it better than the current meta? I think so. Yeah, I would say yes. So I would say go with set 14 with Rey. All right, so Galactic Legend SLKR, right? His current one is the season 13 Doubt. It's pretty good. If we're building one for him this time, I'd say the 15% offense plus 20 speed. I also said to put as a level 6 maybe the inflict mark especially if you're using Red Trooper. That's who I was thinking of. The mark might throw some wrenches into some things. Again, I don't think it's priority, and there's no applicable level 9 for him. For secondaries, I would say health. Anyone that's faced a bulk SLKR, it's super annoying. There's a lot of turn meter reductions and stuff like that happen, and he has enough health steal where you can't damage him for a turn when he's in his ultimate. He's pretty good with health. And then offense if you can for faster kills, but I think health is the primary there. Is it better than current meta? I'm gonna say it depends, right? I think either is gonna work, and I think it's really gonna depend on how you plan on using them. But this is gonna be a nice one for whenever it's done. Okay, for JML, currently we're using him for the season 12 potency cron, right? So that's dusting. So our new one, I think, again, with JML, it's kind of a off telling that I say it's not a priority. What I mean to say is that I would take a 70 or 80% protection cron that doesn't have any of these level 3s, 6s, or 9s over, like a 40% protection cron and then has some of these things, right? So just so you guys know, like it's a priority in the sense that it's going to help, but it's, again, like overprotection, not really. So level 3 potency and tenacity up. Again, helps with, ability blocks and stuff like that you're going to land. The 100% health equals 100% offense for the Jedis. Again, that damage is nice, but before you get to his ult, you are only doing that once every, I think, 3 or 4 times, or 3 or 4 turns. I'd rather just get the consistent coin damage from the extra protection. Level 9 JKC, Jedi Cal, or just not really applicable, or it's not a priority, again, like who you goes for. And then secondaries, my joke is, all 3 of them are protections just to boost that Jedi lessons damage. I would say you want to get to about 60% or higher, right? Like that's always been kind of the magic number. If you can get to 90%, that's great. If you can get to 120%, even better. But 60% is pretty noticeable. Is it better than the current meta? Well, set 12 dusted. And then with enough protection, I think it's better than a protection up cron for him and his team. So I think so. All right, Galactic Legend C. Current meta, I said it's kind of the doubt cron, I guess. We're building one for him. I would say 15% offense, 20 speed, right? He's usually the last guy to be alive. So having that extra speed, so that way he's linking more, and so that way, he can get to his turns quicker, and having that extra offense definitely would help him. Depending on his team, right, you could go with the 2% TM, right? The things that would affect that is shock, dots. Sith do apply those. So for level 9s, there's quite a few Sith. There's stuff that I saw that looked interesting. There's nothing that I was like, okay, like this has to go with C, right? And this would be mostly if you're using him for defense. And secondaries is health, right? I think C's are health loaded. So just give them tons of health. You give them that plus, the offense and the speed. I think even it's going to come down to, if they're doing like a C solo versus your C team, it's going to be pretty difficult to get through like a really chunky health loaded guy that's getting the 15% offense and super fast. Is it better than the current meta of Datacron? Hard to say. I don't think so. I think, Datacron's definitely stopping stuff like Wampa. And, maybe the offense and the speed would as well. I don't know. But I think this is a tougher one to sell. All right, so Lord Vader, his current meta is the Season 13 Datacron with the Empire defense to offense. If we were building one for him this time, I'd say protection up or the 15% offense plus speed. Why protection up is I think it will at least delay what Bo-Katan Mandalore can do. I think, again, they're gonna get one freebie for sure. They might get have enough, once they mass assist and stuff like that for the second one. So maybe it doesn't help out, but it'll at least delay on Lord Vader, right? Like Lord Vader is the key to this all. And that's why I think 50% offense plus speed is going to help even more, because by the time you lose all of his teammates, right? He's going to hit for quite a bit more damage. He's going to be quite a bit faster. So he's going to cycle through his turns quicker. I know he can't gain TM, but maybe the other guys can, like Darth Vader, right? And stuff like that. So yeah, maybe it works, right? I don't know. But for secondaries, I'd say protection. You want bulk. For damage from Maul, right? You want health steal. Makes SLKR easier, but the reheals are pretty good whenever he gets it. And I don't think SLKR is going to be what people are using these days against him. It's not clean. It's not as effective, I should say. And there's going to be other things that come out with this set that will help us. With offense, it's also going to just help Maul and Darth Vader boost, their offense, like a culling blade is going to hit a little bit harder. And all this is to say, just to delay until Lord Vader gets his second ult, and then he kind of takes over the fight from there. Is it better than the current meta? I think set 13 is still the better one. But this is going to be a nice one. It's kind of the ongoing perpetual Lord Vader cron, right? Like he's just kind of always had a place. So yeah. All right. So for JMK, where current meta is this Scoundrel no revive. For level 3, I think there's a few options there. There's a protection up one. There's a resist debuff, gives you 2% health and protection. They get, they resist a lot. So I think that could help. And then also too, I think the 15% offense and speed. I think a lot of people, like, especially if you're doing mirror matches, right? A lot of people will just kind of go for the leap on GK, just, accept your 62, but maybe with that additional speed and offense, as you kind of like get down to the dregs of the team, maybe, it's not as, beneficial, I guess. It might rip away some more banners. Also with 100% health equals 100% offense for the Jedi. And level 9, right now I'm a little bit undecided. I don't know exactly where Kit Fisto is going to go. His cron is pretty amazing. I don't think it's underneath JMK, but that being said, I think there's going to be more like brought to light, I should say. For secondaries, I think we go health here. We prioritize health because it's going to maximize the amount of protection up. The longer you have protection up, the less you get crit. The less you get crit, obviously, the less damage you're taking. Also, I think you get like some tenacity build in there with the protection up. So yeah, there's a lot of benefits there with the health and offense, right? Just to help the buff the damage. It's better than the current meta. I think it is better than the protection up, right? The 90, 70, 50% protection up. But yeah, we'll see on this one. All right, so Jabba, this one's gonna hurt him, I think. We just came off of a season where he was just crushing people with the Boosh Leia cron. Really, the only applicable one for him that I really thought of was the 50% offense plus 20 speed. And he kind of gets dragged down a little bit because there are some light side guys on his team, so it's not going to be applicable to everyone. If we were to, give him something, we want to give him health, right, for some additional bonus protection. Is it better than the current meta? I think set 13, doubt is going to be better for him. It's going to kind of gate him from getting troopered. There's some better, I think, benefits from having a doubt cron for him. So hopefully you guys can shift a doubt cron over to him once this meta is over. All right, Galactic Legend Leia, right? So current meta is the season 13 protection up. If we built one for her with this new set 14, I think again, you're noticing a trend here. The reason why 15% offense and 20 speed is because we want her to go fast. Obviously, we want her to get turns. We want her to get her ult. And I think if we, they usually kill, your tank or something like that before, right? Now all of a sudden her ult hits a little bit harder. Maybe it's enough to get the kill, so that way it revives your guys back, right? So all those are good things. I said for level 6, the resistance 100% crit avoidance because, R2D2 is, a resistance. But other than that, it's not like a mandated thing. For health, right? I think it gives Leia some additional damage and bulk, but I think it will also make them a little bit more susceptible to Inquisitors. Is it better than the current meta? I think it's pretty even, right? I think set 13 protection up versus this one, set 14, I think is pretty even. All right, so now we're into the non-galactic ones, and this is the one that I think most people really want because, Galactic Legends are fine, but a lot of the game doesn't have it, right? A lot of the players that don't have Galactic Legends or all of them. So here's some really good ones that I really am strongly advocating for you to get, right? A lot of people have Grievous. I could go either the 15% offense plus 20 speed. The 15% offense is really going to just only benefit B1. And then the speed is going to help everyone on the team, right? That you can get to a pretty serious point where you're just reducing everyone's turn meter and you're gaining turn meter, which is a pretty bad turn meter cycle that you can get put into. So I think that it would help eventually. And like you do end up killing Grievous usually kind of last, right? Like it's just sort of how it kind of goes. You got to get kill B2 first. Then you usually just sort of happen to kill like IG 100. And then it's like, okay, now I can kind of go for them. Now, Bad Batch is a little bit different, which is why I kind of said potency up, tenacity up, right? When they're dispelled, they're just going to get this. So now the stuns aren't going to stick, right? So I think there's some, you know, I think there's some level there for that. The target lock is going to be really nice as well. A lot of damage increase there. And then if you have a stat, obviously go for the stat, or it's not really applicable. For stats, I'm going to say health, and that's really the only thing you really want to just maximize health there. All right, so for Trench, I'm going to personally say the 15% offense, 20 speed. You guys are probably noticing a trend here. Again, like these guys are really, really strong, especially like in Territory Wars. But right now they're even having a renaissance inside of GAC due to Datacron. But yeah, just, you know, kind of getting that additional speed, that additional offense. Django just starts kind of hitting like crazy. If Newt does get his extortion off, it's like all these guys get their speed magnified by like, I think 10% or something like that. So yeah, for level 6, you do want to be immune to Daze. Daze kind of a killer in that team. And then level 9 is Trench, obviously. I think for stats, you want to aim for protection, maybe some offense, but mostly protection. These guys can actually be quite sustainable, like when it comes to debuffs and stuff like that. You just need to give them some time to get going. And if they get going, watch out, because it can end up being pretty bad. For Geos, you know, all those Geo lovers out there, you know, especially in the lower ranks, like these teams still hold really well for you. I think you're going to want the potency up, tenacity up, level 3. You're going to want to be immune to Daze there, right? You want them constantly assisting, and you want the level 9 spy. I think you want as much bulk as possible, right? Like it's always sort of the drawback on Geos, right? If you kill one, it's like, okay, we've killed one, their health pool's out of it. So if you can kind of stop that big damage by giving just them that extra health and protection, I think you're going to be good. All right, so I put Bane in here, level 3, level 6. I'm sure there's better ones that matter, but really it just comes down to just having Banes. He's good enough as is, and I think your stats that you want is health. He siphons from health. I think that's just how you want him built. He'll become basically unkillable. For Darth Sidious, again, kind of the same thing, level 3, level 6. I think there's some better ones. I think protection up as level 3 makes sense. But you just really want the Darth Sid level 9, and then I think health as your thing. So a lot of emphasis on health, I think, this set, but kind of shows because we've just been living in kind of an efficiency meta, and you know, this bulk is gonna make a difference, I think. So the next and final one is kind of our light side guys. There's more light side to be had, right? Like I think Finn Zori is also going to get a little bit of a buff here, but the main guys that I want you guys to think about is Beck. Again, 15% offense plus 20 speed, you know, with 100% health and 100% offense, right? Jedi Knight Anakin is going to be really upset once you kill someone. And he's got that additional 15% offense. He's got, you know, if he's at full health, he's got 100% offense, and he's gaining his bonus offense from that bonus turn. And then you want Beck there. I said protection and offense here, right? I think there's a certain limit to how much protection you really can use. But yeah, offense after that, gonna obviously help you. All right, gas. Now this is a funny one, right? I want you guys to think about the mechanics of gas here. General Skywalker, and just kind of think about, for every one of his allies that you kill, he's going to gain 15% offense and plus 20 speed. If he's at 100% health, he's going to deal 100% damage, and then you give him some protection bonus, right? So he's kind of sheltered here. So yeah, you obviously have to kill all the clones to get your shot at gas, but when he comes up, he takes a bonus turn. You've killed 4 clones, so that's going to be 4 times the 15%. You know, he's going to have plus 80 speed. He's going to stand up with 100% health, so you're going to have to get the 100% offense hit, plus whatever he's gotten from any buffs that you've gained. And yeah, you've stacked him with protection, so he's countering you. He's doing all the things that you really don't want to have happen. So gas is going to be a really good menace here in this set. So anyways, guys, this video went longer than I expected, but hopefully it was some good stuff for you guys to take away. Make sure that you guys are focused in your DC farming as you guys go into Conquest tomorrow and the fall, and the rest of the week, and the rest of the time that Conquest is available. So anyways, like I said, hopefully this helps you guys. Appreciate you guys watching, and thank you guys so much. And we'll see you guys in the next one.